being single, I'm always interested, single and counting, I'm always interested in what other people are putting out there on the internet. So I read this one and I thought I'd bring it to you. Single black female seeks male companionship. Ethnicity, I'm going to try not to. Ethnicity unimportant. I'm a very good-looking girl who loves to play. I love long walks in the woods, riding in your pickup truck, hunting, camping, and fishing trips, cozy winter nights lying by the fire. This is why I like Toastmasters to look it up. Candlelight dinners will have me eating out of your hand. Rub me the right way and watch me respond. I'll be at the front door when you get home from work, wearing only what nature gave me. Kiss me and I'm yours. Call this number and ask for Daisy. Over 15,000 men found themselves talking to the Atlanta Humane Society about an 8-week-old black Labrador retriever.
So you've seen the weather reports. We have a lot of snow this winter so far. Lots of snow packed up in the mountains, which is going to melt and run downhill and go into the streams and rivers late in the year. So that's potential water for later. When water is moving through a stream, there's a name that we give to that force of moving water. It's called what? Water has a strong current. Current, right. When I went into electronic and electrical engineering, I learned that we use the same terminology to discuss electricity. Electricity stored in a battery is called potential.
Right.
Current is the name for moving electricity. It's the current that spins the motor that starts your car. It's the battery that has the potential to do so. So what do we call this stuff? Currency, which means it works when it's moving. That's right. You have potential. That's money you got in the bank or in your wallet, right?
Right.
You have potential. Now, I'm not suggesting that you pay off the college tuition of the lady at Starbucks, but my tip for the day is to tip well.
Nice.
This stuff works when it's moving.
Nice.
It's something that you can do that's small. Doesn't cost a lot. Pay $1.50 for a cup of coffee and leave $1 tip. You were going to get the coffee anyway. That cost you an extra $1. If you want more generosity in the world, start the flow. Tip well. Thank you.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, it's good to be here. So I thought that it would be fun to just look at some quotes, new beginning quotes, and instead of me coming with one quote that we would all respond on, I have a lot of them. There's some really good quotes for the new beginnings, and I thought it might be fun to there's lots here. Just choose one, read the quote, and you do with it what you want.
Okay, if I don't get anything from this one, do I get to draw another?
If you like.
Okay, let's see. Oh, I have to work this out. The secret to living the life of your dreams is to start living the life of your dreams today in every little way you possibly can. Yeah, let me get that. No. Just kidding. Gotcha.
The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. Steve Jobs. You create your life exactly how you want to create it. One of my favorite sayings is, life isn't about finding oneself, it's about creating oneself. and therefore you create that life. So can we all be Steve Jobs? Yes, I think we can. We might not invent the next supercomputer or whatever he did. He did a lot of things, but we each have our own expertise. And it's really about creating step by step, moment by moment, and making those choices.
So this is about creating beginnings, right? So how can you create a beginning without having an ending, right? I always heard along the way that sometimes to solve problems or find goals is to start from the ending, right? What does it look like at the end? What do you want to accomplish? Well, if you don't close out a day, you don't reconcile a day, and you don't close a day, how do you start a new day?
Do not wait until the conditions are perfect to begin. Beginning makes the conditions perfect. Alan Cohen. Yeah, the point of that is if you wait for the perfect timing, it will never come. And you will be just doing the same old thing. The perfect time is now, no matter where you're at.
This is a takeoff on something that I projected to you last year before we broke up. I'm suggesting.
Those that don't know me, I started back in 1982, and sometimes you get all these wonderful Jesse-like speakers, and John and Mike and all of us that seem like we're so good at this, and I remember sitting at the back of the room saying I could never be that good. And I fell into the pattern of comparing myself to somebody else and making myself less than. So it's really important to come into Toastmasters and know that many of us have been here for a really long time, and we've been working the program for a while. And some of us come in and we haven't been working the program for a while, but they'll stand up in front of the room and they'll say, oh, she's so good. And inside her voice is going, no, I'm not. And that's why we're here, right?
I signed up to give a speech because I want to get through my book. It's important to me. When I joined this group not quite a year ago, I said in a year, I will finish my books. So that means 2 books. That's the leadership and that's the communicator book.
2016. Happy New Year. Bring it on. We all know what that means, right? Yeah, the new year. The new year, we're getting ready to make all those promises and goals and make those times when we go, oh yeah, we feel so great. We're so jazzed up and ready to start that New Year's resolution. Thank you. And when we start that, we're so excited and so pumped. We're out there going to slay that dragon. We got new equipment. We're ready to go. And then something happens. And pretty soon our motivation kind of goes down the hill and there goes our goal.
Fellow Toastmasters, especially Joanna. Successful club series, how to be a distinguished club. Sounds pretty dry, doesn't it? I've heard this presentation given, and it is dry. I've given this presentation. It was dry. It was, if you find what's good for you and follow what's best for you and participate, we'll be a great club. Totally different. Now,
Jesse, thank you for your speak. Great beginnings can lead to amazing outcomes. I always like your presence up here. You really have a very engaging way of speaking, and even though you're slightly handicapped with your stroller, still being quite expressive with your body also. I really like that.
Well, I love the speech, Michelle. Excellent. What I loved about it, it had a clear beginning, middle, and end. And you stayed on task all the way through. You had points and then you emphasized them. One of the main points that I loved about what you talked about when you were talking about obstacles, and you talked about entitlement. That was one that came off the left field with me, because you don't think of entitlement being one of those things that would dismantle a goal. But it certainly is, because once you hit a rough spot, there's a little bit of pain, and people that are overindulged walk away, right? That's that entitlement mentality. That came out beautiful. It stuck out for me.
Officers, the new president here. Thank you, and I liked the introduction to the evening. I really liked the name tag.
Yes.
And after hearing Joanna's speech, I wear it more proudly too. I ditto much what has been said, and using the word of the day, Genesis, I thank you for the genesis of Toastmasters story. The information about Mr. Smiley, I guess was his name?
Smedley.
Smedley, Ralph Smiley is important too, because that was a great reminder that we can have no profit without pleasure, basically. It was a little bit more eloquent from Shakespeare. I definitely liked the humorous Shoshana. It was both Shoshana. It was both the stories, but actually your laughter was infectious. It was great. And John, the tip was really great. Not only was the tip good, but I loved the way you just lead into it and make a story, and then it's like, yeah, sure, exactly. It's just about that. Thank you. And the speeches.
Great vocabulary in high gear for the new year. You repeated that twice, that's nice. Insidious, it's always a word that is evocative to me. Thank you for using it. And the rent axiom. Success is not owned, it is rented, and the rent is due every day. It's powerful. Thank you.
Small or medium laughs was 50. Big laughs, 30.
We have 3 words that we need to work on this evening. Our first word that has the highest mark is or The next one is so, and the other one is and. I won't tell you how many times we did it because I can't count that unless I take my shoes off.
Did you want to give us the timer report,
Yes.
please, Aaron?
Well, initially I forgot that I was the timer, and then I was laughing so hard at Shoshana, who was adorable. But I estimate, thinking that I have a time clock ticking in my brain, I think she was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Just throwing that out there. John, the tipster, 1 minute and 43. Jesse, speaker number 1, 8 to 10 minute speech, 9 minutes and 38 seconds.
That takes us to the end of our meeting. As Toastmaster, I'd like to thank you all for participating. When I conceived of the theme for this evening, New Beginnings, that was pretty easy for me. I had no idea that it would be such a great genesis of all of you. And those speeches just fit right in, right down to all of the table topics. So thank you very much for playing along with